right around those areas. If we see prices near these levels, the alt market is likely about to be ready to bounce. On this correction, I would personally bet on spot, not leverage, because, as I said, the global BTC futures picture on CME is very ambiguous and quite risky. As an optimist and bull at heart, after a current liquidity sweep around $105,000, I'd like to see a bounce to the nearest major resistance and short liquidity buildup. The liquidation map shows that's roughly $179,000, $118,000. If during that bounce, dominance also starts declining, spot alts can really please us. But as a technician, I see serious risks, so be careful with leverage. As we've learned, anything can happen to altcoin futures. In the moment, they can be practically wiped out. Futures on alts are great when there's a clear uptrend, when ETH and BTC are in reliable rising trends. When risks and uncertainty like this are present, it's not a very reasonable idea. So today, let's keep the focus on spot. Now, some positive factors that don't let me fully turn into a bear and short the market. First, the fear and greed index, during a bull market, with Bitcoin above $100,000, has moved to extreme fear. Where have we ever seen that? After the euphoria of 2021, extreme greed persisted literally until the next bear market bottom in 2022. And now we have fear at the highs. Second, the mood among the community and influencers on Twitter, YouTube, and Telegram. Today, analysts are literally drawing invalidation levels for the bull market and getting ready for a grim bear market. To understand the difference with 2021, back then, any mention of an upcoming bear market by a crypto influencer meant a ton of hate and probably the end of a career. The faith in endless altcoin madness was that strong. This cycle, we haven't even seen that madness. Third, the BTC gold ratio. Bitcoin is a high-risk asset. Gold is a safe haven. Today, that ratio is at a very strong support. The same one that stopped gold's growth and launched rallies in Bitcoin and crypto after the US elections, when Trump was elected. And again at the market bottom in April 2025 after Trump's tariffs. If you open gold's chart today, it looks scary. It's like a geopolitical, even war-type rally. But technically, this rise looks like a climax. It can't continue at this angle for long. So a move to sideways or even a solid correction may be near. If the safe asset corrects, large flows of liquidity will rotate, possibly into risk assets in both stocks and crypto. There's a real euphoria in gold today. Qs in Australia and Vietnam. FOMO buying of bars. Fourth, the US 10-year Treasury yield broke below 4% for the first time this year, which means demand for treasuries has risen. When demand rises, it signals expectations of economic slowdown, higher unemployment, and, as a result, Fed rate cuts. Over time, that's a good track for risk assets. If to these expectations of cheaper money we add even a little confidence in the future, investors will deploy liquidity into higher risk markets, not into boring low-yield Bitcoin or megacaps, but into small caps and altcoins to actually beat inflation and make money. Fifth, one more big argument: the ruthless wipeout of crypto traders on Friday the 10th. At the same moment on the monthly chart, Bitcoin dominance set a second top, a precursor to further decline. Sentiment and headlines in crypto are terrible, and to me, that's the perfect recipe for Altseason. At least it's logical, and I want to believe it. You'll ask, but on what news can we grow from such a situation? That's the point. At peak declines and peak despair, media post only the worst news. Why? To explain to crypto investors and traders why their deposits were shaved. The media and big analytics firms are very bad at seeing the future. They usually just state what has already happened. If today you see bad news everywhere, it's very likely already too late to be afraid. Notice, at local peaks and at the 2021 highs, there simply weren't bad headlines. That's exactly why at $76,000 Bitcoin, $2,400 for Ethereum, and the bottom of the US stock market, right before a rapid, unprecedented rally, the media was full of only the worst news, and the biggest managers and analysts expected only a bear market and a Great Depression. But once markets reversed and rallied, everyone suddenly changed shoes. For risk markets, especially crypto, news flow isn't even necessary. But there's one rule that truly works. The best and most profitable days in all high-risk markets occur after the very worst ones. And I think what we saw last Friday, the 10th, and over the past week fully qualifies as the worst. So, to summarize, technically, looking at the Bitcoin chart without emotions or conspiracy, I understand the picture is quite dangerous and bearish, and today the odds aren't on the bull's side. It's very important that after sweeping local liquidity at 106K, 105K, maybe even 104K with a wick, we form some kind of reversal and bounce. Otherwise, the next target becomes 92K, 96Ks. If such risks of a deeper correction are confirmed, I'll notify you first in our absolutely free Telegram with rapid analytics updates. But at least from the perspective of psychology and crowd sentiment, a bounce seems not far off. And I'm betting on that with my spot positions. Also, I wanted to share an interesting news item about the Lido Finance Liquid Staking Protocol token. A major investment company, Oneg, which already owns a Bitcoin ETF and an Ethereum ETF, has filed for a Lido Ethereum staked ETF. In simple terms, they're asking the SEC for permission to enable staking inside spot Ethereum ETFs so their clients can receive additional yield. That would be a huge competitive advantage, potentially provoking outflows from Bitcoin ETFs into Ethereum ETFs. And they want to implement the staking via Lido Finance. If this goes through, Lido becomes part of the institutional infrastructure of the US stock market, which means staking inflows and protocol revenue will only increase. Considering they plan to start buybacks from December 2025, this could positively affect the asset's price and attractiveness for traditional investors visiting crypto from the stock market. Let's hope so. At least I'm telling you this during a crypto market correction, when Lido Finance's price looks more and more attractive every minute. Judging by the project's technical and fundamental characteristics, it's not going anywhere, just as investment firms aren't while they continue filing for spot altcoin ETFs and requesting staking permissions. They are, with their own money, building a huge, unprecedented market, not right before the death of crypto or the start of a catastrophic bear. Don't forget, friends, today is Friday. Large options expiration, which means volatility closer to the close will be elevated, and most importantly, markets close on Friday. After the close, starting around 11 p.m. Kyiv time today, President Trump and his team can do whatever they want, and it won't affect the U.S. stock market. In crypto, liquidity will be lower, an ideal platform for insider trading and manipulation. So, the rules are simple. Try not to carry your futures positions over the weekend. If, over the weekend on closed markets, the price significantly deviates from Friday's close, where BTC and ETH close, I'll notify you in a separate Telegram post. Then you can attempt to scalp long to capture the short move back to Friday's close. To clearly understand how to capitalize on this and how gaps, price dislocations, work, I highly recommend reading the article in our education section on Telegram. Everything is explained in detail there. And while Trump is president, this is a super relevant method to catch great scalp moves. That's all for now, dear friends. Let's wish good health to the crypto market. Today, sending the deceased on its final journey, I'd like to wish it success and recovery, and some enthusiasm to buyers because it's time to finish this correction. If you found this daily review useful and interesting, don't forget how important your support is. Your likes and comments are what inspire me to record videos every day and help the content get promoted. Don't forget to subscribe as well. It drives the algorithms crazy. Wishing you a wonderful day and a great weekend. Bye. Yeah.